Good morning, YouTube. It's a wonderful, wonderful day, and the weather's cooperating.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
So we've got 78 degrees and sunshine, and there's no chance of rain today, so maybe I might be able to get some stuff done. Probably not. Not the way I operate. The truck, everything's finished on it as far as the heater core and the heater hoses. I have to clean up some antifreeze that's up on the intake and wipe off some other things. I might have to take it to the car wash and spray all that off, because we do have one that has the correct traps that they allow engine degreaser and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to do that today. We'll have to see. I haven't even taken it for a test drive since I fixed it. But Heidi's inside working on some stuff. You can see she's already got this door fitted for it and quite a few others, like the kitchen window and that window. And this one we don't need because we have that road cover that covers up the window. And Heidi's hard at work. She's doing the back window now, which looks really filthy. Man, that needs cleaned on the outside. Yeah, I know. It's bad. She's already got this window done. Ooh, this one's kind of loose, Heidi. This one feels a little loose. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me. And then that window. So all this is covered up, but we need to definitely make sure that one's, I don't know, we're concerned about not having air conditioning and needing that window open to draw air through. So what she's going to do is probably pretty smart. Her suggestion, she said this window is really hot. She's going to cut out a small one for the top, and that'll allow us to keep the blinds closed, but the bottom one can be open then. And then she's going to make this to cover the entire window, everything. So good for her. Good idea on her part. Now, I just did a review for our vacuum. Man, that thing is awesome. I'm so happy about it. If you guys didn't get a chance to see that, go look at it. But I'm working on the water tank today. So you can see I have some components in here for the water fill and water extraction. But the water tank is in its position where it's going to be at. And I've got a bunch of fittings in here, which I still need fittings. I still need a plug that's better than this one for that low drain point that's back there. But all these fittings and everything, I think it was about $64. Plus I had to have the truck towed, which had no fault of these parts, that's for sure. Let me go ahead and get to work here, find some hose clamps, put all this together, and boy, that's a nice rubber inside there, and see if I can get this to where we're going to have ourselves a functioning water tank with water pump, which I can even find the water pump. I don't even know where it's at now. Now, as far as the pump, it wasn't here. It wasn't at the house. I forgot it. I forgot it up at the store. I was so distracted. I very rarely ever misplace anything. And the fact that I went up to the store, the truck broke down in the parking lot. I called the tow truck. I was watching for the tow truck, making sure that I didn't miss him. At the same time, I was trying to put this together in my mind mentally. Then I went up to the checkout, and I had to wait for the hose to come up. The guy had to cut the hose for me, and then he had to go back to the back to get this hose, which we'll talk about that in a second. Then she started to ring me out, but other customers came up, so she had to cancel the transaction. Again, waiting for this hose to come out. And I, at some point, set down this water pump. And then whenever the guy came, I had my hands full of all these fittings in a bag, this hose in a bag, and then this hose wrapped around my arm. So whenever I got out to the truck, I didn't even realize I didn't have the pump with me. So I called up there this morning, and they said, yes, we have it, which was fine because I needed to buy some other stuff, including what I was talking about on this. I wanted this hose to be a 90 degree as much as possible out of here, and I want it to be supported. So what I did is, I was checking fittings, and it's sometimes cheaper to buy other things. What this is this is part of a P-trap, and this is the other part of the P-trap. You can tell. There you go. And I cut it, and this will give me 390s to work with to help this hose transition. Just a good idea whenever you look at the bigger picture when you're in there buying things, because if I would have bought 390s, it would have been much more expensive than the $3 that I spent on this P-trap and then making it 390s myself. So let me go ahead and get this thing way further than what I currently have it. Well, the shadows are longer and I am tired. All I had was a couple little beef sticks today, and I'm hungry too. But it's done. Yeah, it's done. I haven't tested it yet. You guys are going to be the first ones to see it along with me. So let me show you what it looks like and try to point out all the little features if I can. It looks a little hideous to me, but you know what? It's going to get the job done. Heidi says it looks okay, but to me it looks, I don't know, looks like an underground subway or something. Some kind of utility subway. What I had to do in this case was put some silicone in here to help keep this seated, because I have such a sharp angle on the inside. I'm going to leave this unhooked because I got to fill. But yeah, the angle kind of was pulling on this, so I went ahead and put silicone. It's holding. This is the hose here. Basically, it's just about long enough, and this is what I use to connect to the freshwater hose, and then that will run onto the RV. I just wanted some length to this, so in case the cap is open but the tailgate's closed, we can still get to it. All right, so here's where some of the rig job went on, and that is I put a screw to help with the transition, because this pipe is awful rigid. It don't like to bend. And again, this allowed me to force it up to take some relief off of the fitting that goes outside. Of course, it's clamped. I don't need this vent because I vented in the back. I'll show that to you in a second. And then I just ran the hose along underneath here and secured it in a couple spots. And again, I used another elbow for the transition over to the tank. Now, as far as the supply hose, I just laid it up on the rail and zip stripped it. Now, I talked about putting this up on the rail, but it just didn't want to make this turn. It was just too sharp. The other thing is if I remove the cap for whatever reason, it wouldn't take much for me to remove most of the stuff. But if I had this hose up here and mounted, that would take a little bit more. So the only thing I'd have to do is cut some zip strips and take out 2 screws and loosen that hose clamp in the back, and the cap would come off. So this then comes down and connects to the water pump. I've got a 90 degree here, and then I've got a 90 degree here, and then of course that goes back to the water tank. Now, as far as the wiring, I didn't know really how I wanted to do it. In the last minute I decided I'm running it off of the battery. So this runs off of the battery of the truck, not the battery in the back. I've got it set up in the fuse box, and the power wire is fused right when it comes out of the fuse box. If you're going to do the same thing, make sure that you run a fuse. So you got the water supply coming out of this corner, because most likely the truck, you know, the back of the truck's a little bit higher than the front of the truck, just from the factory. So I went ahead and put it in the front corner, and then the hose comes over and goes to the inlet of the pump. And then, of course, this is the outlet of the pump. The ground wire then comes out of the switch, and you can see here I just ran it along the hose, and I've grounded it in the back through a switch. So whenever this comes on, it grounds the pump, and at that point the pump pumps the liquid out. Hopefully that's the case. You know what? I think I got the pump backwards. Oh my, how funny is that? I'm almost positive I got the pump backwards. I'm gonna have to flip that around. Not a big deal. It's just disconnecting the hose clamps, turning the pump around, and then putting it back where it is. That's hilarious. I thought about that just at the last second. So anyways, this is the setup, and I just fabricated a stupid bracket out of some metal that I had to house this switch. So basically I've got the grounded back here into the bed of the truck. So the positive's coming from the battery in the front to the pump, and then again it's grounded here. So whenever I complete the circuit and turn on the switch, that's going to ground the motor to where the motor will want to run and pump water, but not the way it's set up now. Let me flip that around. We're going to fill the tank in with water in the meantime when I'm doing that, and we'll pump it out and see what it looks like. All right, so I started filling the tank. I'll show that to you outside in a second. You can see the level there. The only thing you had to worry about is being able to see the level. And I did forget to show you the vent. Here's the vent up here. All the hot air is coming out right now. Boy, I can feel it. It's hot air, definitely. And I just clipped it up here, and of course it goes to the top of the tank. So I don't think that I have to worry about the water coming out. As long as this stays clipped, I might put a wire tie, a zip strip, whatever you want to call it, around there, just to keep it in place. Same back there. And, so far so good. No leaks, and everything seems normal. The back of the truck's starting to smell like plastic though from that vent. Hey, you can see the fill thing going on in here. It's one thing that I'm going to miss if we ever do start living in southern states, is how cold the water is that comes out of our well. It's nice sometimes. We drink it through a reverse osmosis filter, but still it's awful cold when it comes out of there. But I fill everything with ice regardless. So here we go, guys. Here's the truth of everything, and that is, will the pump work? I'm gonna flip this switch on right here, and hopefully water starts coming out of this hose. Okay, the pump's on, and there we go. Water is a-flowing. It works. Go figure that out. Yeah, there's no reason that it shouldn't. It's pretty basic. Again, I really don't need a pressure switch back there, but I could pressurize this. As far as checking for leaks, I don't really think I need to, though. There is a chance that I could run the water system inside the RV off of this. You know, maybe I'll do that, and that'll pressurize the system. What I'll do is I'll take the water hose here off of the pump, and we'll pretend this tank is a city water supply. How about that? Yeah, let's try that out. That sounds like fun. Okay guys, so you can see the pressure's pretty low. It's saying low. It's almost green. There is a little bit of a leak here at this connector though. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, right now this line's pressurized, just like it would be with city water. Just with that pump back there. So the pump's turned on. The hose just got pressurized again because of that pump. It's always done that. But yeah, as far as going inside, here, I don't think again that we'd ever want to do this, but I guess there's a reason of some kind. There you go. I got water pressure. It's a running. Now, one bad thing about having the vent inside the truck here is whenever the water's full, you know, it's going to come out somewhere. Hopefully it would come out this neck before it would come out the vent, but there's a chance it could come out the vent. That wouldn't be too good. I can tell though that the tank is bowing out more with the extra water in there, and I can see the vent is starting to get water coming up in it. We'll just keep on filling it. We'll see what happens here. Looks like the tank is expanding, trying to find some air. Yeah, I still don't see anything coming out that vent. Oh, good, it's coming out here. So, looks like that it's just going to come out the fill hose. Although it's climbing up the vent. It's going higher, it's going higher. It's going higher up the vent. I'm turning this off. I'm just going to let it come out the truck. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if I really like that. It's way up in the vent. And the tank is bowed. It's really bowed up quite a bit too. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Definitely don't want to overload that thing. I'm going to go back there and look to see if I need to reposition these cargo holders, because Looks like it's lifted up. Yeah, this cargo holder, it's lifted it up. So, there. We'll put that there. Yeah, wonder what would happen if I took it for a drive. You guys saying that, you know, it'll move around in that. You might be right. Yeah, you can see. Look how much the vent, water's up in the vent. Woo! Push it up. It's coming out the RV, or it's coming out the truck right now at the fill. Yeah, I don't want to run it that high. And that brings up a good point. How high should I be running it? How much water should be in here? Because it could be an issue. I don't want it coming out the fill tube, but I don't want it coming out inside the truck either. That's a good point. I might have to do something with the vent tube. Might have to vent it out somehow. So let me go ahead and disconnect this and put the freshwater hose away. I'll run some water out and we'll take this for a drive and see if it moves around. All right, guys, so it's back here and it's got a decent amount of water in it. Again, if it was half full, it'd probably slosh more, but I'm kind of curious with it being as full as it is. First of all, so heavy. It makes the sides bow out a little bit more, and of course that's more weight for these cargo holders to hold. We'll see if it'll do it. And also I want to see what happens as far as the water and if it comes out the fill neck, that kind of a thing. So let's go ahead and see what this thing's going to do. All right, guys, so basically here I'm going on about an 8-minute drive. So if you don't want to watch this drive, just fast forward a little bit and show you what the final results are here. But I tried to show once around the big block. This is our country block. And our driveway transition's pretty rough. A little bit of noise going on in the back of the cab. And the acceleration that I do here is pretty typical. And this is pretty typical of the roads that we'd be traveling for the most part. Not a lot of movement. The water's sloshing around a little bit, but nothing crazy. I'm going to go down the hill here, and that's the other thing. This road has a lot of hills. And I'm going to make a left. When I make my left, I take it at a pretty normal speed. I do, every once in a while, go left to right, which you'll see, just to see what the water will do. But there's a point in the road that I'm getting ready to turn onto that I'll actually stop on a hill and accelerate, or at least try to accelerate. Actually, one of my tires spun, which was odd because this does have posi traction, because both wheels were spinning whenever we were out at the campgrounds, that's for sure. A lot of traffic here, but I wanted to show that the water's settling. It does recover kind of fast. No water came out the fill tube. No water came out the vent hose, which I would expect it wouldn't. But until I experimented, I wasn't quite sure what it was going to do. This is going up a little bit of a hill here. Again, nothing real crazy. And we'll go up a little bit further, and again, I'll try to accelerate up a slight hill. My audio that was on the camera that was inside the truck, for whatever reason, none of it captured, so I'm just voiceovering here. Yeah, just past the cows.
tire just spun. So there wasn't a real hard launching acceleration there. Now we'll go down a hill across the bridge, a small bridge, and then we'll make a left at a stop sign. And it's kind of on a hill also. It's kind of a weird intersection. And we'll try to see if we can get the water to move that way. This road is relatively flat. Once we get past a one-lane bridge that's up ahead, it's cornfields on both sides. So there's really nothing there, and I can screw around a little bit more. Water does move around a lot back there. Luckily the tank isn't accommodating all that movement by moving itself. I will say that I did get that cargo holder to move, and it's again just over this bridge. I accelerated, got a pretty decent launch, and then the next time it was like a posse burnout. I mean, it just didn't want to grab traction. Watch that cargo holder, you can see it moved. Just the truck doing a burnout. That was definitely a posse. It wasn't a one-wheeler. Then I slosh it left to right here. Obviously, none of this movement really is going to be like this whenever you're pulling an RV. My acceleration would be lighter than what it currently is because the RV would slow me down, and of course all that movement left to right I want to be doing. So now I'm going to try a little bit of an acceleration here. All I wanted to do there is give a constant G-force to that cargo holder to see if it would finally give with constant pressure on it. And even though it's tilted right now, kind of up on edge, it's still holding strong. The reason that it tilts, though, which I'll talk about a little bit later, is because the tank is bowing out. It's ballooning out, let's say that. The tank is kind of ballooning. So in the middle of the tank is popping out, and it's pushing on top of that cargo holder to where the force isn't being exerted at the floor on the corner of the cargo holder where it meets the floor. Instead, it's up on top. Well, that's kind of how you remove them from the floor, is you grab either one of those handholds that's built into them, and you just kind of lift it up and peel it away. So I'll talk about that in a minute, and you'll see how I address it. All we're going to do here is make a left, and then make a left in the driveway, and I'll let you see how rough it is. You know, our driveway, the end of our driveway is rough. They never did cut the edge for the driveway where the gutter and the road and our driveway meets. So it makes the water bounce. But other than that, we're back home. Let's go ahead and get in. and we're done.
Well, it looks like it moved a little. Just back. Slightly. God, it smells like rubber in here. Yeah, it looks like it tried to move back. Again, that has to do with the tank and it bowing. I'll have to address that for sure, because that's something I didn't account for. I figured if this was straight on, if these things were straight on, they wouldn't move. You know, I could address it right now and it would probably fix the problem. Let's see if this works. I slide that piece of cardboard in there. That'll allow this thing to slide in with all these Velcro hooks grabbing until I want them to, which it's gonna be in there a ways. And now I gotta hold the cardboard out. Pull out my leverage, and there we go. The tank's up on that plastic a little bit. We'll have to see if that causes a problem. I don't know if I like it up on those ridges though, if that's going to cause a problem with the tank, if it's going to wear on the tank or something weird, because that is plastic, but it's sitting on a rib here, and there's another one right about here, I think, another one here, and then another one here, and it's supports for these things. Let me show you what it looks like. There's about 4 of these ribs, and the tank's just up on this right now. I could put little blocks of wood in here to help with the height. I don't want to take away from this because it does help with the support. I may find myself doing some sort of other kind of configuration here. I'm not sure yet. So that's my project. We now have an extra 40 gallons. It's supposed to be 42, but I think it's 40. 40 gallons of water, and we have a way to actually go out and boondock. Funny part is, this trip that we're kind of planning, and not planning very well, to tell you the truth, we're just trying to figure out a direction still. We probably won't use this water tank anyways, because I'm not going out to the desert, not when it's 120 degrees out there. So there's no reason to try BLM land. We'll see. We'll have to see. It doesn't let us camp primitive though. But then again, for the couple days that we'll be stopping, the water that's in the RV will be plenty. I mean, 50 gallons, come on, that should be plenty. All right, guys, that's it. This is this project. I'm done, and this has gone on long enough. And as always, I hope to see you out there. Bye.